Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wellness Day, a podcast coming to you every Wednesday. And today we've got a very, very special episode. We are celebrating, or the start of the 79th year, coming to the 80th year of Jehangir Hospital. And today we've got none other than the chairman of the hospital and the hospital group, Jehangir H.C. Jehangir. So, welcome. First question I have for you before we get into the podcast is, what should I refer to you for the rest of the podcast? Should I call you Dad? Should I call you Jehangir H.C. Jehangir, JJ Jehangir, or Chairman Sir?
No. Chairman Sir is out.
Chairman Sir.
I never really want that, but people do that. You can call me Dad.
Call you.
If you forget that, you can call me JJ.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, but good to see you. How are you doing?
How are you doing? Your voice is sounding a little bit.
Yeah, so I have to say that, today is probably not the best day for me at doing a wellness podcast because, as you know, I've been nursing this bad throat. So rather than nariyal pani, I'm going to have some
Hot water. That's always good for you. Well, we don't want you to just get well. We want you to stay well.
Yeah, so there is honey and haldi in it.
Haldi and haldi. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So then I'll ask you we'll just go straight into it because we don't want you to keep your voice.
Right, and excuse me if it cracks or grows.
No, that's
My
fine.
voice cracked when I was 12 or 13, but in case it goes hoarse, I may need to just...
That's fine. This is a fun conversation that we're going to have. So here, as you know, we've been talking about wellness with various other people. For you, you've been doing this for many, many years now, a wellness package, your health packages, or your healthcare checkups. How long have you been doing this for?
Frankly, I can't remember. It's been a long, long time. And the whole concept was put in right in the days when we joined hands with Apollo. And
when was that roughly?
1998.
Okay.
That is when things started.
Right.
But things started developing in the years after that. And you will remember Jaideep as the first,
of course,
as the first CEO.
So that was when we started more wellness.
So I think once things were stabilized and building was built, and then we started doing health checks because it's a very big thing with Apollo. And we started doing it since then. I dare say I wasn't really doing my health checks since then, but soon enough, I think it started sometime in the early 2000s or something like that.
Okay. So you've been doing it then nearly for 20 plus years now.
Could be.
And you think that you found benefit in that?
Absolutely. There's no question of that. How should I say it? The beauty of a health check is that you shouldn't have any benefit from it. The point is that there is no... Sorry.
No problem. Have a sip of your honey and haldi and hot water. I'm drinking nariyal pani.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What I tell people really is that the ultimate benefit of a preventive health check, or the ultimate gift to be expected from that, is to be told that you're absolutely fine, there's nothing wrong with you, go away for 1 year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that doesn't always happen, because there can be situations where there are little niggles, that are there, and they show up in a whole variety of tests. As you perhaps know, our health checks are from head to toe.
And it's important to distinguish what head to toe means, because a lot of people just think it's a very extensive blood test.
No, that's what they do. Most people that I've met, especially in Bombay, and we talk about a health check. Yeah, I've done my health check, I've done my blood test. But that's not it. I mean, from your head, your carotid arteries, which control the flow of blood to your brain, which is where strokes happen. Things like that, from there right down to the fact that your toe joints are working all right.
Absolutely.
So that's really a health check.
And you were saying.
And therefore, what I was saying was that quite often you may find a little thing here or there which is outside of the parameters, but it's much better to find it when you don't feel anything, when there are no symptoms.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because once there are symptoms, it has reached a stage where it has surfaced, showing itself.
That's why I always say the best time to...
that's the best time to try and kill it before it shows itself. Right?
Yeah.
There's no other way to find it.
The best time to fix your roof is when the sun is shining.
Exactly. So that's absolutely right. Well said. And that's exactly what we want to do with preventive health checks. Now, as you perhaps know, we've always had what we've called a wellness center. But really, if we wanted to know what it did, it was the preventive health checks. And
Yep.
then, of course, we had homeopathy in there. It's only when we moved to this place that it became actually a wellness center.
And there's actually one particular story that I'd like to hear from you more about. A very strong experience about. We don't have to mention the person, but it's someone that
We both know.
we both know, and it's a very
That's
important
right.
experience.
So let
about,
me just finish what I was saying.
Sorry.
That this is really a wellness center because apart from preventive health checks, which ensures your wellness, there are so many complementary therapies. Like there is Bowen therapy. There is, you must have talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But there is so much more about wellness, reflexology, all kinds
There's
of
dance, there's art,
everything, which we could never have done there.
Absolutely.
So this is a holistic wellness center.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now coming to the person that we were talking about,
And this is particularly from the standpoint about why preventive health checks are so important.
Absolutely.
And as you say, when the sun is shining is the best time to
That's
fix
right.
it, is what happened
Absolutely.
here.
so there's this person who over the years was detected with minor block of about 40%
In their heart.
in the arteries.
And this is someone who's been doing their health checks year on year. So it's
it's
someone
been-
they've been consistent with.
Yeah, for many years it's been there, 40% in the arteries.
Right.
Stayed for 40% for many years. And the person concerned had no
Symptoms or
no symptoms. Was very active as a sports person, all kinds of activities, everything. And then it got to 50%. And that stayed like that. And the cardiologist said that it's fine. Told the guy, you're absolutely fine. Only when it gets to 60% that we would need to explore further.
Okay.
So a couple of years ago, after being 50% for many years, it was 60%. So the cardiologist said, I think we should explore this further because the CT angio will show that there is a calcification. It doesn't show whether it's outside or inside.
Outside or inside the heart?
The,
Or the artery?
nothing to do with the heart.
Right.
This has to do with the supply
Oh,
of
okay.
the heart. So we would only know through an angio. So I think we should do an angio. He said that there's no hurry. You can do it in a month's time because everything else is all right. But let's do it. And, if it's on the outside, then we determine that and that's it. Then we know we've got a new, fresh baseline. So after a month or more, an angio was done and it was found that no, it is on the inside.
Okay.
And said that, one stent will take care of everything and it'll open up that, it's 60%, you can go on, but it will open it up.
Right.
And the person will be absolutely normal. So the person will have to be a little careful for a month or so after the procedure, but otherwise go back to all the activities, including sport and everything.
But what's important over here is that this stent was actually done as a preventive thing.
It was a preventive thing.
Which is what a lot of people think that, you have a stent only after you have a heart attack or something like this.
That's right. Yeah. So it's so much better to do it as a preventive thing.
Right.
And another pet story of mine is in the early days of our health check, we used to do it in off campus in various places.
Okay.
And this particular one was in the police traffic department. In fact, I think you should start initiating all that because that used to be very, very good.
Right. It's a high stress job.
Yeah. And there we had sort of workstations as such, like a production line, blood sugar, BP, ECG, then, whatever else, whatever, it was there. So there was this situation where this was happening and the commissioner of police at that time was very, very committed to this idea. And he left his work and he was sitting there watching all this. And I was sitting with him until our police coordinator came and said that what had happened is that there is a deputy police commissioner who was in a hell of a hurry to go for his bandobast. And he was in a hell of a hurry, so they made him jump the line.
Yeah.
He did his blood test, he did his BP, all that. And he came to the ECG, and the ECG technician said that with this kind of an ECG, he has to be in the hospital right now.
Wow.
So he said, what nonsense? I'm feeling absolutely fine. I jog like 4 or 5 kilometers every morning.
He's a fit fellow, or he looks like a fit fellow.
Yeah, he said, I am fit. I jog so much. So there must be something wrong. So with the machine, so they did it again. Sure enough, it was soaked. The technician was a young guy, and he started getting nervous because this senior police guy was getting aggressive.
Because again, it's so important that you don't realize what you don't see other than the checks.
So the coordinator came to the police commissioner who I was sitting with at that time, and he said that, sir, this is what has been found. That person says he's absolutely fine and he wants to go on his bandobast. So the commissioner said, no, nothing doing. He called him, he said, nothing doing. These people are here just to look after us. We found something and they've instructed that you go to the hospital right now, or go to any hospital right now, but to a hospital.
Yeah.
And get yourself checked. So I am ordering you to do that. So he said, yes, sir. And he was taken to our hospital.
Right.
I think they did something, either did a stress test or they won't even do a stress test. They examined him and they said, this guy needs an angio straight away. They did an angio and it was 100% blocked.
Oh, 100%?
100% block in one artery.
And how was he on his feet? This is incredible.
And they said that he could have dropped, in the next 3 months, he could have dropped anywhere without any warning, or he may have had warning or not had warning, maybe on his jog or something. He could have just
and again, this is someone who looks like a fit guy.
Yeah, he could have dropped. So they took him straight in, and again it was Dr. Bugal who cleared out 100%, and I think there was another one where that was cleared. And they kept him for 3-4 days. He was fine. 4th, 5th day he went. They said, now you do your bandobast, do your jog, whatever.
And he's perfectly okay now.
And he was perfectly okay since. I presume
Incredible.
he is, I hope.
Again, powerful.
But I'm talking about 20 years ago.
The power of the health coming back
So
to
it
that.
can't be overstated.
Absolutely. But talking about fit people, you're a pretty fit guy for your age.
Yeah, I think I look fitter than I am, but
hopefully as fit as you look.
Well, pickleball has been a new
I was just going to ask you, what are the exercises that you've been doing? I know what the exercises
You know
you've
what
been
the
doing, but
exercises are,
what are your favorite exercises?
I've been, as you know, played squash with mom for so many
Who's
years.
a better player, she or you?
She. She was a state level player.
Yeah.
So
We just wanted to get that on record.
yeah, okay, she'd like to hear that. She was a state level player who taught me, and she was very bugged when you were small, and she had to stop squash when she was pregnant and you were young, and then one day she wanted to start playing, and at the age of 1 or 2 you sort of said that, oh, even mom knows how to play squash, and she was pissed off absolutely.
So we must have her and clear the record.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm clearing it. So I played squash for many years.
Yeah.
And as you know, squash is a sport which you don't play to keep fit. You got to keep fit to play.
Right.
So after a certain age, it's very heavy on the body. So both mom and I have to give up. As you know, I'm not such a gym-oriented guy like you.
Yeah.
It bores me to death. Well, walking bores me to death. So
Let's agree to disagree.
yeah, well, so the cycling that we've done
I was going to
together
say, your cycling is probably...
has been wonderful, because I've been cycling since I was a kid, as you know.
Yeah. And it's probably what's held you in good stead today.
Yeah, and you started when you were small, and we started for a long time.
Yeah.
And we cycled for a long time, our 20-kilometer runs, which we should do again.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the pollution settled. But then, as you know, when we were in the States, we went to a game of pickleball, which till that time I thought was played on a table. But
Yeah.
all three of us took to it immediately, and then when we came back, I just continued playing.
And you're enjoying that now? Because you're playing a racquetball again now.
I'm playing a ball game again, which is really, I never knew that would come into my life. That a ball game is so much more of an engaging exercise. And this is a gentle one.
Yeah.
You can play for like an hour or two or more, sweat but not get tired.
But the important thing is here is that you've been doing exercise your entire life and been enjoying it, which is what...
Yeah, I've been active.
Because, I mean, compared to people your age, you're definitely on the fitter end.
I even in the hospital, I'm on my feet. I go around. More often than not, I climb up 4 floors.
That's very good.
So it's thing like
Yep,
things like-
absolutely. Which
I
is what
would
I've
much
seen.
rather do all the walking as part of my routine rather than
Which is good enough. That's what people don't realize. If you keep
I
this
can
being
do that then walk.
active,
Absolutely.
you don't have to actively try and go for a walk.
Rather than just walk around like a moron.
Walk around like a moron. Well, we know that your exercise is good.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, do you eat your vegetables?
Not as much as I should. I think you saw.
So are you willing to declare here on this very public forum that you're going to start eating your vegetables for your own wellness now?
I don't want to commit myself.
To commit to that. Okay, we thought that we'd try and get that out of you.
Well, one great thing that you did got me eating vegetables is that you got a whole lot of vegetables stuck into my morning omelette.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
There's quite a lot of it. I quite like it like that.
Okay, well, at least that's the
Say
start.
that.
Something is better than nothing.
Yeah.
The other thing also is that you've been...
And I do like chocolates, as you know.
That's fine, as long as it's dark also.
Yeah, and they're dark.
But you've been talking about walking around the hospital and everybody knows you, of course, by your face and by your name, and everyone loves your personality.
Most
and
people by that name and
absolutely.
face, yeah.
And everyone recognizes you as a loving personality.
As a friend.
Now, as a friend, exactly. And no one has ever commented about how you get stressed or you look stressed or you raise your voice or anything like that. So how do you manage
And
your...
I don't need to.
How do you manage your stress then?
I find I have very little of it. And basically, we have such a wonderful CEO, as you know, who himself is so relaxed, and he creates that scenario right throughout.
Right.
They used to be stressed earlier when they was factionalism, which we have to deal with.
But what do you do for your mental well-being? What are the things that you look at? I mean, I know we play a lot of music, or we used to play a lot more music.
We used to, yeah. I'm glad that we started playing again last September. I only hope it continues.
Right. And then, of course, there's your photography, which we get to see in the calendars every year.
Yeah, but this year is more yours.
Well, it's a mix of everyone.
10 pictures out of 13 pictures, 10 are yours because of those wonderful gorilla shots.
Right.
Yeah, that's another great activity. I wish I make it a point to come home a little earlier from the hospital and shoot around at home. That happened in the lockdown, you remember.
Being out in nature.
Forced to be at home. I discovered so many things, and virtually half a calendar the following year came out of picture shot, not going anywhere. So that's a very important thing.
Right. But coming back to the hospital and the wellness and our ethics and philosophy that we want to pass on or keep going and be a beacon in the industry for that, is that how do you see wellness as a I don't want to use the word industry, but wellness as a concept going forward? It's becoming more and more popular, and more people are finding much more value in it. Now, for us as a organization, where do you see us focusing on it?
Like we've already expanded our scope in the wellness center, there is serious talk about having another wellness center because this is running to capacity already in a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
No, year and a half. And also there are new areas, particularly the integrative medicine area, which Dr. Farke must have talked to you about.
Right.
And I'm very excited about that because that is integrative medicine. You integrate various branches of medicine, not for treatment, but for wellness.
Okay, yeah.
And he's agreed that he wants to institute it here and do a pilot study here also.
Absolutely, which we'll be
So
doing.
I'm very excited about that.
And here we're carrying a legacy of 80 years, which we've been fortunate enough to have with the kind of ethics and values that we want to lead with. So that is something that is at the forefront of how we want to go ahead.
It's not in the
It's
forefront.
it's like what you said earlier.
It's baked into our genes.
We want to make sure that people don't come to the hospital to some extent.
Absolutely. And we genuinely mean that, we genuinely mean that. And it's baked into our genes. It's becoming baked into the genes of the staff. And you can see that from the feedback of the patients. Everyone is smiling. Everyone is wishing them well to go home. That's something that's always there. The ethics that we practice in medicine, which need to be
Absolutely.
focused on more in the industry. But for us, it's people ask, how do you do it? We don't do it. It's part of our genes. It's baked into our system. So it just We've always done it for 80 years. It'll happen for the next however many years.
Okay, absolutely. Well, then, final question then for you, JJ, Jehangir, and Chairman. So, or Dad, you said, where would you like to see the hospital in the next 80 years then, or the
80 years.
hospital group?
Yeah. So what I would like to see is more and more outside of the campus. As you know, at the present time, we are talking about building in the campus because that's the need of the hour.
Absolutely. Hopefully, you'll be well soon.
No, the way I'd like to see it is that we're doing what we have to in the campus. And we'll continue to do what we need to do in the campus. But the way I like to see it is a footprint outside of the campus, like we have here.
Right.
We're talking about another one at another part of the city. There was this project that we had in mind about buying land a little further away, where there is nothing, and just perhaps keeping it, having a clinic or OPD or something, but a big enough portion to build about a 200, 250 bedded hospital.
Something for the future.
So that's the kind of thing that I'd like to see happening in various parts. And 80 years is a long time to see many of them happen.
Absolutely. And we look forward to
And the
seeing
point is that, when one happens, then, the second one happens a lot quicker.
The
And
momentum
now you
carries.
see, as a wellness center, we decided we'll have a wellness center. We'll set it up the way we set it up. And maybe in 5 years' time, we should consider a second one. But it's not even been 2 years. When will it be 2? I think it'll be 2 years in September 23, September 25. Yeah, and now we're already talking about finding another place for a wellness center.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, you bet. And the thing is that it's not as hard as it was this time.
Absolutely.
We've got the formula worked out. It'll come up very quickly.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, thank you for being here. Cheers to another 80 years.
Yeah.
And happy Founders Day to you too. Hopefully you'll be so well soon.
Yeah, thanks. And Mom she's itching to get her fingers into the second wellness center. I mean, she's done all this out here. The formula is in place. It just needs to be implemented.
Absolutely. And we know the power of it.
Yeah, and what we need to do is to keep everything pretty much the same for identity.
Absolutely.
So
we'll
it's that much easier.
look forward. I'm sure people will be eagerly waiting.
All you need was the money, so you provide it.
You want me to provide the money. Okay, well, on that note then, thank you all for being here. Thanks again for being here, and look forward to seeing you all for the next episode. And happy Founders Day to you.
Thank you. Happy Founders Day to you and all our, from
Everyone.
all our viewers.
To our entire family.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Family as in the entire Jehangir Hospital and Root family.
Okay. Thank you.